Hello, friends. Thanks for joining us today. We have some pretty interesting things to discuss today. It'll be a fun and interesting webinar today. We do these webinars every Wednesday. They're actually free webinars just to help educate people. I'm Brian Cavanaugh. I am the founder and co-CEO at Free TV. We do a lot of different things related to TV, internet, streaming. Really all relative. Our main goal is just to help educate people and make better decisions about TV and their TV bundles. Our average customer saves like $1,500, every year, so definitely significant. Anyway, on the sidebar there of your YouTube page, well, first of all, you can subscribe to Free TV, probably down below. And then you'll get all, future topics we discuss and past topics we discuss. Like I said, anything from TV, saving money on your internet, to sports and how to get that, to cutting the cord. We really cover a lot of different topics. On the side there in the chat on your YouTube page that you're on, you can add any comments or questions, and we'll get to those at the end. No questions are dumb questions, just like they say in school, right? We're going to cover a lot of the basics of internet today and streaming. We'll also get into services like Netflix and Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, which is a new one on the scene, Hulu. We'll also talk about a lot of live cable channel streaming services. You can actually get any channel you want, believe it or not, any of your cable channels. Even recently, Altitude Sports, which is blacked out on cable, is actually available via streaming, no contracts. Same thing with AT&T Sportsnet Rocky Mountain for the Colorado Rockies baseball. Pretty amazing. There is literally no channel you can't get nowadays without cable. So, we obviously help people cut their bills in half, not just a one-time bait and switch like cable and satellite, but forever. So if you're interested in cutting the cord and learning more, there's a couple things I would suggest. If you're new to cord cutting and you just want like a free one-on-one consultation, that's really the best place to start. Like I said, our average customer saves $1,500 every year. So very significant, but everybody's situation is different. What we do is really all customizable based on your needs. If you come up to our website, which is freetv.com, there's a couple things on here I'll show you that you can benefit from. One is just schedule a call, right? If you're new to Free TV, or just if you have questions, wondering how much money we can save you. Really we cut people's bills in half, so definitely worth a quick talk there. You can schedule a call with one of our experts. The next thing is watch a webinar. So that's probably how you arrived here. We'll have future topics on a lot of different things. We're going to be covering NFL and how to get every single Denver Broncos game for free next week. After that, we'll be talking about a lot of different things relating to internet, how to fix your internet issues, data usage, internet options for internet providers coming up in the next month or so. Also talking about data caps with Comcast specifically. The other thing on here too that you'll notice is if I go through and navigate over to this news section, the news section has a lot of great information around just kind of current topics, a lot of blogs that we write. And actually, you can even filter these down by different things. You can see we have recent, articles about Altitude Sports and Dish is blacking out local channel 7 ABC, so you can't even get that. Obviously, Altitude Sports is blacked out on Dish and Comcast. That's probably going to go on for years, quite frankly. Like I just said, we actually just wrote an article about how you can get Altitude Sports separately via streaming. But anyway, if you go back up here just a touch and you click on news, that gets you down to this news section. There's a whole bunch of different topics here. You can even filter down in the news section if you wanted to look, for just like sports, for instance, or just streaming. So I'll click on streaming there, which is our topic today. So there'll be some other interesting tidbits. You can see we have one about the Altitude Sports thing, and then also the Colorado Rockies, how to get AT&T Sportsnet Rocky Mountain. without, cable and satellite, no contracts, a lot less expensive. So you just get it for like a month or so for the Rocky season, then you dump it, and you're saving a huge amount of money, obviously. We have some articles about, just different shows on Sling and Netflix and Amazon. So there's a lot of different things out here, about your internet usage, some binge watching TV. So anyway, just wanted to give you the heads up on that, some good resources. And then, like I said, future webinars, just click on watch a webinar up there, and we update those monthly with new topics, usually every couple weeks, actually. Anyway, so moving on, we're going to get into things. The first question to really answer is, what is streaming, and how does it work? So believe it or not, a lot of you folks might think, well, hey, I don't think I've ever streamed before. Actually, you have, because you're doing it right now. This video is being streamed right now on YouTube. So maybe you've streamed from your smartphone, maybe you stream from your laptop or your desktop, maybe you've streamed on your TV if you have a smart TV, or you have a little streaming stick, whatever. But basically, streaming is just a different way to watch TV and watch content. So a lot of folks actually do it and don't even realize they're doing it, and don't realize how easy it is to do. Yeah, it's complicated setting it up originally, especially setting it up right in the first place. That's a big part of what free TV does. Honestly, we have options that we have a package called Happy Streamer that just gets you all the right hardware. We set it up. You don't have to worry about what the heck do I buy? How do I set it up? We give you a demo, show you how to use everything. It's really the same cost. If you had any idea what the heck to go down to Best Buy and buy, we fully come out and install it, set it up, give you a demo, show you how to use it, take advantage of it, and make sure you're saving money off your monthly bills, with cable and satellite. Cut those bills in half for your bundle. So anyway, really, streaming can be a lot of different things, but all it's doing is basically using the internet to access content. So it's just a newer way to do it that allows you to access it not only on your smartphone, your desktop, laptop, but also on your TV as well, which I'll show you obviously a bunch of different apps throughout the discussion today. Yes, there are different things that can kind of come up when you're streaming. The first thing is, what internet service provider do you need to have, and what speed do you need to have to stream? So we'll be doing a webinar in the coming weeks, coming months, more specific to different internet options for providers, speeds, prices, things like that. So I won't get into all the details today, but what I do want you to kind of be aware of is that if you're streaming on-demand services, which are things like Netflix, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, Hulu, that's not very bandwidth intensive. So you don't need a super fast internet speed. You can get away with even like 5 or 10, especially if you're single and at home alone. If you're more people using the internet, more people streaming, or if you're streaming live TV, which we'll get into some free live TV services down towards the end of the webinar today. And we'll also get into how you can get like any cable channel you want via these live streaming services, and a bunch of free streaming services too, by the way. So that'll be kind of towards the end of the webinar. But if you're doing more live streaming, that is more bandwidth intensive. So it's really, really important that you probably have a minimum of about 20 megabits per second for speed. And then also that you have the right equipment, which we'll get into here in just a minute. So really, for internet providers right now, for most people, there's just an option of either CenturyLink or Comcast. It varies by area and neighborhood. If you have a free consultation with us, like I said, go to the website, freetve.com, and just schedule a call with us. We can give you some better advice specifically for your exact location. But long and short is, we'll be doing webinars with more details in the future on that, with what other options there are. But for most people, it's going to be between CenturyLink and Comcast. There's a lot of misinformation. That's a big part of what free TV does, is not just cut your bill in half for your TV bundle, but also to make sure you're making the right choices, because there's a lot of confusion, a lot of misinformation out there. Even people that are trying to be helpful on like Nextdoor or Facebook, honestly, a lot of them just really don't know your situation for one, and they're trying to be helpful, but let's face it, right? Like, just because you slept at a Holiday Inn last night doesn't mean you're a doctor, right? So obviously we're experts at what we do. I used to work for US West, Quest, Centrelink for 13 years before I started this business 10 years ago. So I've been in the game for over 23 years. There's a lot of little intricacies and complexities that come up throughout the process. We've been doing this forever, so we've run into everything you can possibly think of, and we have fixes for everything to make sure that, you're basically just doing it right the first time and making it so it's easy to use and actually functioning properly, stuff like that. So, anyway, a lot of times people call into Comcast or something. They say, "Oh, hey, my internet's not working." And Comcast, unfortunately, is going to give you some misinformation. They're going to say, "Oh, you need more speed. You need more speed." Well, the reason they're doing that is the reason they do everything. They want more money from you every month, right? You actually don't need more speed. Actually, 75% of our customers have Comcast base speed, which is 100 megabits per second. We usually get that for people, like 50, 55 bucks a month tops. So really, that's kind of one of the powerful things about what free TV can do for you. We're taking your $200 bundle, we're chopping it down to just internet only. Essentially, we can usually get 40, 45 bucks a month, price for life. That's your bill, period. Comcast, maybe 50, 55 bucks a month. Tax on internet is less than $1. So that's kind of the key that a lot of people don't understand. They're going to give you the song and dance about, oh, you need the bundle, you need the TV bundle. Total nonsense. That's actually how they nail your bill up and up. And I would challenge you to look at your bill, right? If you haven't looked at it in a couple months, basically your bill is going to go up every 6 months, period. That's just the way they work it, right? And, they'll give you the song and dance about, oh, the bundle's the best deal. Like I said, it's total nonsense. It's not the best deal at all. It's the best deal for them, not for you, that's for sure. Anyway, so if you have your internet base, 40, 55 bucks a month, taxes like less than $1, all the extra fees, broadcast TV fee, sports TV fee, extra boxes, DVR, HD, all that stuff is what we eliminate for you. So you don't have any of that nonsense with what we do with free TV and some of the options that I'll explain towards the end here. Plus, there's a lot of free options we bring to the table as well, obviously, hence the name free TV. So anyway, to recap, internet service provider, probably going to be Centrelink or Comcast for most people. You don't need some super fast, speed. The next thing is, and we'll again have a webinar in the future about this in more details, but common streaming problems that you run into, what are the streaming problems you run into and how to fix them. And really, if you think about it, your internet's and your hardware, your modem, your router, the streaming stick, all that good stuff. Internet's kind of the backbone for everything, so it's really important. The fail point actually usually isn't the speed, though. The fail point is actually the modem router, ironically, that your internet provider rents to you is usually a refurbished piece of junk. So they're charging you like up to 13, 14, 15 bucks a month to rent substandard equipment. So one of the things that we also help people out with is we install a much, much better, stronger modem and mesh network. So really it's about saving the rental fees, yes, but it's also about something like this, which is a mesh puck. Basically, they're kind of like little mini Wi-Fi routers, so you can put like 2 or 3 of them throughout your house. So it just blankets your house in coverage so you don't have any dead spots. So make sure your streaming is rock solid. It makes sure that all of your really work from home, or your kids' schooling, or let's say you're trying to work outside, all that stuff is just rock solid. And it's much easier too, quite frankly, because you have an app on your phone where you can control everything. So you log in your network, see what your Wi-Fi login is, which everybody always forgets, stuff like that. So that's kind of one thing. So the first piece is just making sure you're not renting that crappy stuff from your cable provider. The second thing is using the right stuff. A lot of people have smart TVs because that's the new thing for TVs nowadays, right? They want to sell you a new TV. It used to be, oh, we have 1080 TVs, and then we have 4K TVs, and then we have 3D TVs, and then now we have smart TVs. Smart TVs, some of them can be good, but the problem is they really aren't the greatest because they're really clunky. They don't have all the apps installed on them. They don't update the apps. The Wi-Fi receiver in them is a lot of times weak, so you're experiencing buffering and things like that. So we install, along with mesh, these little streaming sticks. They're about the size of your thumb. They just plug into HDMI on the side of your TV. And again, cord cutting and just streaming in general is the wild, wild west out there. There's a bunch of stuff out there. We obviously have been doing this for 10 years, so we've tested everything. We know what works the best. We just buy it in bulk. That's how we make our money, is on the margins. So as opposed to you wasting a bunch of time and money and going down to Best Buy and just throwing darts, and hopefully you're buying the right stuff and you're wasting a bunch of time and money and losing your sanity trying to set it up right, just hire the experts from Free TV. Again, if you go to our website, just schedule a call with one of our consultants. That's the best way to do it. But those are basically kind of the main things, right? Is have the right hardware, a mesh Wi-Fi network, and a little streaming media player. That's what's going to give you your best chance for success. You're not having buffering and experiencing kind of difficulty in using things. What we set up is actually super simple. Even when you're cutting the cord, you can get all the same channels, just half the cost, right? No contracts. It's one remote control. There's some equipment kind of in the background that actually integrates all this stuff together, but that's the nice thing. You don't need to worry about all that. That's what we do, right? So yes, there is some different hardware things. Yes, when you do cut the cord, by the way, yes, you do pay more up front, but if you're saving on average $1,500 a year, you can do the math. Your return on investments, anywhere from 3 to maybe 7, 8 months. And then after that, you're saving, every single month forever, $125 a month on average, which what we do at Free TV with the experts. But anyway, it's super simple, right? It has TV volume, TV power built into it. You don't need a bunch of remotes. You don't need to change inputs. So everything I'm going to show you today is all through this one interface. So very, very easy to use. Obviously, we do the installation, we do the consulting, we make sure you're set up right. But we're about saving money, we're about giving people freedom, and we're about really ease of use. That's kind of the three main things. So first off, we're going to kind of compare some of these on-demand services. So again, there's two types of streaming services in my eyes. One is on-demand type of stuff, which really on-demand is stuff like Netflix, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, Hulu. Most of the stuff they do is on demand, where it's just kind of a pretty interesting concept, right? It's what you want to watch, when and where you want to watch it. You just go out, you click on it, and then boom, it's got a plethora of content. So we'll show you that first. The second thing we'll get into a little bit later in the webinar is streaming live content, which is more, just live cable channels. Yeah, it can be on demand and DVR as well. But like I said before, you can get any cable channel you want via these live services that have, literally less cost. The ones we recommend are bundles that are usually 40, 50, 60 cable channels for like 20, 30 bucks a month, and then no contracts. So you just get it for when you want it, and then you dump it, right? So it's just a paradigm shift where you're not paying constantly $200 a month for your gigantic, bundle with Comcast. It's just a smarter way to do it. So anyway, we're going to kind of go one by one on these on-demand services first, and then we'll get into some of these live streaming services towards the end. I'll give you some tips and tricks, not only on how to use them and what's great about them. We'll go over the costs, but also too, we're going to kind of lay out kind of some of the pros and cons, and obviously how you save the most money by cutting the cord and things like that, because that's what we're all about with Free TV. So the first thing I'm going to go into here is Netflix. So again, just using my one remote to maneuver around, really easy, up, down, left, right, select in the middle. So I'll click on Netflix here. Netflix has actually been around the longest, and quite frankly, they're pretty brilliant, right? Netflix is actually ironically bigger than any cable channel nowadays. They have more subscribers than anybody, for a valid reason. You'll see you can actually set up and share your account with different people, and quite frankly, the value proposition with Netflix, when you actually get into Netflix and you understand, like, they have thousands and thousands of not just movies but TV shows. They're creating their own content that's winning awards and is actually better than anything on cable and satellite. So it's pretty amazing the amount of stuff out there. We share this with like our mother-in-law. We have kids, stuff like that. I'll go into my account here, but you can set up different profiles so that you're not having to deal with like watching a bunch of kid stuff pop up when you come in. And when you come in, there's a lot of different ways to do things. Really, the game changer for Netflix, though, is they have gone in and kind of changed the TV game, right? Because Netflix, they have their base package, which is $9 a month, no contract. And they have one that's the next step up, which is $13 a month, which would probably work for most people, quite frankly. So when you look at it, you're like, I'm paying $9 or $13 a month, and I watch Netflix like half the time. And then you look at your cable bill and you're paying $200 a month. I challenge you, like, why the heck are you doing that, right? I mean, most people are like, that value makes no sense because I'm watching my cable channels less than 25% of the time now, you know? And obviously, like I said, we'll show you ways to, even if you want to get any cable channel, you can for a lot less money and no contract. We'll show you that towards the end. But anyway, you can see there's things like what's popular on Netflix right now. And there's things like what's trending now. So I'll go into like The Office here just as an example, and this is just the tip of the iceberg, and we could spend all day on here. But if you go to more episodes here, you can see there's actually 9 seasons of The Office. So every single season of The Office, and there's 26 episodes in just this one season 6. So basically, you could literally watch TV from today until you die and pay next to nothing and never be bored of nothing to watch. That's the power of a streaming TV. It's the internet basically, right? It's the World Wide Web. There is so much content out there, it's ridiculous. And all this stuff is commercial free. So I'll go into one of these real quick, but it's what you want to watch, when and where you want to watch it. We've kind of been programmed with cable and satellite to pay hundreds of dollars a month for hundreds of channels we don't want when all you watch is 5. It makes no sense, right? With this, it's a lot smarter because you can do all the same stuff. I can pause TV. I don't even need to worry about recording stuff and skipping commercials on stuff like this because it's on demand, commercial free. So I don't have to deal with commercials at all, period. Right? What's better than that? That's awesome. So anyway, I'll go back here. And you can see on Netflix, you know, they have what's trending now. You can add stuff to your list and save it for later. So if there's things that you want to watch or your kids want to watch or whatever, you can actually save it for later. They have sections for movies. They have things you maybe watched in the past that you can watch again. And there's a lot of things like from, you know, cable channels like Breaking Bad. And you can see the things with like an N on it for Netflix. That's like their original series for their stuff that they've actually created. So like I said before, you pretty much could just subscribe to Netflix and be happy for the rest of your life, in essence, for a lot of people. But the nice thing is you don't have to. It's your choice, right? You can come and go as you please. All these services are designed that way with streaming services. These, again, are just Netflix originals. This movie has won a bunch of awards. I mean, there's just so much stuff out here. It's just crazy. And really, people think of Netflix as movies. Actually, there's a lot more TV shows and TV series than people think of with Netflix, too. If you come out here to the left, you can see, you can kind of search for stuff. You can see the latest stuff. You can filter by TV shows or movies. You can go to your list. You can add stuff to your list. So it's really simple to add something to your list. If you come out here and you find something, you're like, oh, hey, I want to add that. You can come in and play previews of it first. You can find more stuff like it. Or you can just come down here and say, add that to my list. So really simple. Again, I'm just using my same remote here. So I just added it to my list. If I come back out and go over, everything's right there in my list, right? So super simple. Here's my list. I just added that show. Voila, there it is, right? So very easy. So anyway, that's Netflix. Netflix is really about you know, a lot of on-demand type of stuff, commercial free. The other thing is just making their own content, and that's pretty similar to Amazon Prime, which I'll show you next. Amazon Prime started out with, a lot of people might already have Amazon Prime and you're not even using the free video part of it for free TVs and movies. It's really similar to Netflix in that respect, where they have thousands and thousands of shows and movies on demand, commercial free. Amazon Prime actually has more movies than Netflix does, believe it or not. So Amazon Prime is $120 a year. So it's not a monthly thing. But a lot of you already have it because you're using like maybe the free shipping. They also have free music that streams, and they have like Kindle reading books, which is pretty cool stuff too. They have an amazing amount of just free stuff that's included with your annual subscription. And then I'm going to focus obviously on the TV on demand, similar to Netflix type of thing, where you're basically getting thousands of movies and TV shows on demand as well. So you can see, just like I have an app for Netflix, super simple, right? I don't need a bunch of remotes. I don't need to change inputs. With what we set up with free TV, it's super simple to get to whatever you want and to come and go as you please and pay for stuff you want. There's a bunch of free stuff I'll show you later, and then cancel stuff whenever you want because it's all month to month. So Amazon Prime Video is another streaming service that's really similar to Netflix in that respect. They do have more movies. I won't go into a lot of this because a lot of it's pretty similar. They have their own content. Like, again, this is a great show. They got nominated for a bunch of Emmys. So they're creating their own content that's actually better than a lot of the content that's on cable. If I go into this Marvelous Miss Maisel, it's actually a pretty good show, to be honest. I watched it. You can actually see there are 3 seasons of whatever, 8 to 10 episodes. So again, you're never gonna be bored with nothing to watch. You could watch something every day for the rest of your entire life and pay next to nothing and have an amazing amount of content to watch. You probably hear a lot of people talking about Netflix shows and Amazon Prime shows. They're talking about that stuff more than they're talking about cable and satellite shows nowadays, right? Your kids, your grandkids are probably telling you about Netflix and Prime. That's obviously, it sounds really intimidating to kind of get to all this stuff and to discover new things. But with what we do to help set you up, right, it's actually very easy to use. We've set up Peter Boyles, on the radio host. We've set up Rick Crandall on radio. We set up Jim Beneman with Channel 4 CBS. So we set a lot of people up that aren't super techie, believe it or not. And they've been really successful in using all this stuff. And obviously they love saving, $125 a month or $1,500 a year. So again, there's lots of ways to get into this stuff. If you go up here, you can see there's a bunch of free options. Amazon actually is a little bit different stuff than Netflix, where they've just kind of started getting into this. They actually have channels where you can subscribe to HBO or Stars or Showtime or whatever. There's all kinds of stuff out here. And basically, it's just a month-to-month type of thing. It's not just live stuff, but it's also on-demand, commercial-free. So it's pretty slick. So they have a lot of stuff going on there that's pretty interesting. They also have like NFL. Every Thursday night football game, for the most part, is actually on Amazon Prime. So they're basically branching out in some of these other things as well, golf, things like that. So besides all of the free stuff. And the other thing you can do on here too is you can add stuff to your watch list, just like the other things. But you can actually buy. You can see, like, I have kids, so if I bought some of these pay-per-view movies, so brand new release movies, you can actually buy and save for later, or you can actually buy them and save them forever and watch them whenever you want, type of thing. So it's pretty flexible as far as all that goes. And you can see they have all kinds of popular shows, like Vikings is a show on History Channel. They have a lot of their own stuff. Obviously, Amazon Originals is their own stuff. So there's all kinds of things out there. You'd be amazed at the amount of content, similar to Netflix, really, right? There's just so much stuff out there. It's kind of mind blowing, really. These are all just free movies that are on Prime. So amazing amount of stuff. So anyway, that's Amazon Prime. Amazon and Netflix have quite a few similarities, and that they have live on-demand TV and movies, no commercials, just what you want to watch, when and where you want to watch it. All these guys have no contracts. The next thing, I'm going to go back home again using my remote. It's super simple. You can see there's actually a little home button there, right? So I'll hit that, go back home. Next thing we'll go into is Disney Plus. Disney Plus is actually new on the scene. By the way, too, before I forget, we mentioned this at the beginning of the webinar, but in case you missed it, if you have any questions while we're going through any of these things, pop them in the chat on the right-hand side, and we'll get to those at the end. You can see, again, you can set up different options for profiles so that you don't have to see each other's stuff, and that's really easy to do. So Disney Plus is an on-demand streaming service. It's $7 a month, pretty straightforward, right? $7, you get a whole bunch of TV shows, movies, on-demand, commercial-free. They have a lot of Disney content, obviously, as you might guess, hence the name Disney Plus. A lot of Pixar movies and things like that. Marvel, which is kind of the action, hero type stuff. Obviously, it's probably more geared for kids, or if you're a senior, maybe your grandkids obviously would enjoy that when they come over. You'd be the number one grandparent if you get Disney Plus for your grandkids. And they also have some National Geographic stuff and some Star Wars stuff here. You can see what's interesting about on-demand stuff is they can actually, as you watch stuff, they can actually recommend stuff for you based on what you've watched, which is pretty cool, right? So especially with like Netflix and Prime, there's so much stuff out there. Once you watch something and you like it, it'll actually start recommending other stuff like it. So you can actually find a bunch of amazing content out there that you had no idea even existed. Like I said before, stuff that they created, Netflix or Prime or even Hulu or Disney create some of their stuff too, although Netflix and Prime has a lot more of their own creations than Disney and Hulu does. That's just really good stuff. It's winning awards, so highly recommended. So there's some movies out here, obviously. There's also, a lot of these have continue watching, so if you watch something, it's really easy to pick off where you left off at. These are animated movies, some TV series for like younger kids. They even have some throwback stuff, like old school, things here. They have musicals. Hamilton is a really big thing nowadays that just came out. I think Hamilton like shut down the internet basically because when they released it, it was pretty crazy. So I'll play this. You can say it just takes a second to stream up, and then you're good to go. You can actually skip forward if you want. So there's a lot of functionality. Fast forward, pause, play, rewind, stuff like that. I have it muted right now, obviously, so we don't have to hear this in the background. So pretty darn easy to use. You just hit the back button. If you ever get lost, you can just hit the home button on here. It's really, honestly, especially after we set you up successfully with free TV and your setup here, it's actually quite easy to use. So that's kind of the quick rundown on Disney Plus. Hulu I'll show you next, and then we'll get into some of the live streaming services and how you can get like any cable channel you want, no contract, and also a bunch of free streaming stuff, live streaming stuff as well. So Hulu, next to Disney here, is $6 a month for an ad-supported. So in other words, they'll pop ads in there, or you can pay $12 a month for no ads. I personally have different recommendations as it relates to this that I think are better than paying for Hulu. But obviously to each their own. Hulu and Disney actually have a bundle with ESPN Plus, all three of them together for $13 a month as well. So just FYI, if you're kind of interested in all those, that's the best way to do it. Same deal, it's month to month. You can cancel, part of them and keep one if you want when you're done, however you want to do it. Hulu is mainly on-demand stuff for like older TV. Yeah, they do have some of their own originals. Yeah, they have some movies, but honestly, it's really about older TV shows and things like that. They do also kind of have content where you can set up your own stuff. So you can see I have some Saturday Night Live stuff on here. I have Shark Tank on here, whatever TV shows. They're, like I said, I'll show you something in a minute that I think personally is no monthly rate and is actually a better way to get a lot of this content for free, where you're not paying, whatever, $12 a month to have no commercials. They have, something like Handmaid's Tale. That's kind of their biggest thing that Hulu's known for. There's like, again, an amazing amount of content out here. If you go up top, you can also get over to, TV shows or movies if you want to filter it out by certain things. Certain genres you can filter by. Under hubs here, it's pretty interesting. You can actually divide it into different categories. So for instance, if you want to, figure out like what's on a certain channel or whatever, you can go into like Animal Planet, and then it'll have like the shows within that actual channel specifically. Again, these are all on demand. They're not necessarily live. So I'll show you something I think that's a little bit different. If I hit the home button here, again, it's not as simple as just a little mesh and a streaming stick and whatever. There's actually some equipment in the background that Free TV installs that integrates all these things together. But a lot of times, for a lot of our customers, nothing to do with streaming, but we install a really powerful, really small outdoor attic HD antenna, and then that integrates together by this hardware we have in the background into the same system here. And you can see, if I go over to this section here, these are all my free channels that I get off the antenna. You get like 50, 60 channels for free. What I wanted to show, though, is that you can actually schedule recordings in here. So a lot of those same things that were just on Hulu, you can actually schedule to record for free and not pay a thing. So there's no extra monthly rate to have like a nice grid channel guide. There's no extra monthly rate to record shows, skip commercials, things like that. So you can see it's pretty slick with what free TV sets up for you. It mimics all the good things about cable and satellite, but without all the bad things, right? None of the extra fees, sports TV, broadcast TV fee, DVR fee, extra box fees, all that stuff is $0 with free TV. And you can see it's the same stuff. So I can come out here and I can set up recordings. If I want to record like the talk later on, I can record the series, record the episode, stuff like that. And then all my recordings come right in here. If I go back, these are all my recordings that I've set up, right? So I can come back in and watch whatever I was watching before. So anyway, that's a different way to do it where you're not paying any monthly rate at all, which to me is even better. That kind of covers the on-demand stuff. The next thing we'll get into is live streaming services. So if I hit back home here, we just kind of covered all the on-demand stuff: Netflix, Amazon Prime, Disney, Hulu. YouTube has some on-demand and some live stuff, and YouTube is obviously free. Pretty much we get you all kinds of great free stuff on here, which I'll go into next. There are apps that actually have a bunch of cable channels. The ones we recommend are all usually more in the, you can get a la carte for like 5, 10, 15 bucks a month. But the ones we recommend are actually more in the range of like 20 to 30 bucks a month. They give you, things like Fox News and ESPN and HGTV and food, like anything, any channel you want basically is available. The great part about it is obviously your bundle is going from $2 a month with cable and satellite down to like 40 to 55 for internet. None of the extra fees. All you're adding on is a 20 to 30 bucks a month. So you can see you're saving a huge amount of money every month with what we do at Free TV to help you. You're cutting your bill in half, really, in essence. And you can really even cut it more if you want, because remember, these streaming services, it's the same exact channels. You can get any channel you want, but they're all month to month. There's no contract. So when you're done watching, let's say when the Nuggets season ends and I don't need Altitude Sports anymore, hey, guess what? I just shut it off, right? So it just makes a lot more sense. It's a smarter way to do it where you're getting the same exact channels, same exact services, live, on demand, DVR, whatever you want. Just you're in control again. You're saving a huge amount of money. $1,500 a year on average is what we help people save. So anyway, there's ways to kind of get, you can see this is just the Nuggets game. If I go back home, pretty much any cable channel you want, grid guide, DVR, everything. The next thing out here is you can see there's a bunch of free apps where you can really get like any type of free content as well. So if you don't feel like paying for anything, actually I'll go back up top here. This live TV section has some cable channels in here that are more pay services. Obviously, it's just what's on regular TV right now, CNN, Fox News, whatever. This is all the free stuff off your antenna. These are just, cable channels, but there's actually, if I go back up top here, there's a bunch of free stuff where you can literally come in and there's apps that have just free stuff. All these movies and shows are actually free. So again, the sky is the limit when you're cutting the cord, and when you're doing it right, at least we set you up to be successful so you can pay for whatever you want to pay for, but you can also have a bunch of free stuff that you can watch every day of your life forever and never run out of something to watch. So I would challenge you to basically go pull your old cable and satellite bill that maybe is on auto pay, you haven't looked at for a while, all the extra fees, right? Broadcast TV fee, sports TV fee, extra box fees, all that stuff is gone with what we do at Free TV. I would challenge you to pull up your bill and look at what you've paid 6 months ago compared to what you're paying now, and then compare it to what you're paying in 6 months from now. Your bill is never going down with cable and satellite. It's going up. It always will go up because 6 million people cut the cord last year, and content prices are actually going up and up and up. As an example, Patrick Mahomes just signed a $500 million football deal Well, guess who pays for that? ESPN, the content providers, CBS, the content providers. They pass that on to cable and satellite. Cable and satellite passes that on to the consumers because they're certainly not going to eat it. They're actually losing money on the TV part of their bill. So that's why they have all these extra fees, sports TV fee and broadcast TV fee and regional sports fees and all these other fees that keep going up and up and up, sneaky fees, right? So I would challenge you, look at your bill. Instead of calling into Comcast for help because they don't care, call Free TV. So again, if I hit the home button here and go back, if you go back to our website, which is 8 letters, FREETV.com, it's real simple. All you need to do is go to our website, click up top here, and schedule a call with one of our experts. We'll be able to let you know exactly how much money we can save you every month based off of what you care about, what you need for channels. And really, it's a lifetime of savings. No contracts, come and go as you please. Our average customer saves $1,500 every year, so definitely worth scheduling a call there. The other thing is we'll have future webinars. Like I said, we'll be talking about anything from next week's webinar is how to get every single Denver Broncos game and a bunch of NFL football totally free. How to get even stuff like NFL Sunday Ticket, NFL Red Zone, all kinds of just kind of NFL stuff we're talking about next week. We'll have future topics in the future. If you're paying for cable and satellite and you don't like sports, well, why are you paying all these extra sports fees, right? So we'll have ways to cut your bill way, way down and save a huge amount of money without cable and satellite and still get all the same channels if you're not a sports fan. And then if your internet's broken and not working and you can't stream, we'll also have future topics about what type of internet provider options you have locally, how much you should be paying, what speed you need. We'll go into more of the details of that, what to do about data caps. So anyway, if you go to our website and just sign up, click on watch a webinar, there's a link in there that actually takes you to all the future webinars. I'll click there real quick so you can actually see. If you have any questions, just put them over in the chat, and then you can also go to our bottom here. You should see a link that basically says subscribe to Free TV, so you can do that and sign up for any future webinars as well that way. So you can see if I go out to the website, basically there's a link here that says view all cord cutting webinars. If you click on that, that'll kind of show you what's coming up in the future. And we update that every couple of weeks, so I'm sure you'll find something interesting out there. They're all free webinars. Like I said, the one next week is on Denver Broncos. We'll do one about internet options. So we have a lot of interesting topics. Anyway, I think that should wrap it up. Thanks for joining today. If you want to share this out with friends and family, if they're having problems with streaming, or they're kind of new to streaming, or they never streamed before, they're trying to figure out Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu, Disney Plus, whatever, or they want to save money off their cable bills, just send them to our website, send them a link, tell them to go up and watch a webinar or schedule a call, and we would appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you every Wednesday for these free webinars. Take care.